This is you. You were born in one of the most forgotten projects, a place where hope evaporates faster than water in the desert. Your parents disappeared when you were barely old enough to think, leaving you an orphan. In a world where there are only two options, live fighting like a demon or die in silence like a saint, you chose to fight. You don't have photos of them, no legacy, and no safety net. Your only memory was a blurry melody of an easier life that felt like a distant dream. The city was a concrete cage that was slowly bleeding you dry. You spent your youth numb, surviving on scraps, hiding from the predators that roamed your streets. You had an obsession with escaping, pushed to do crazy things just to feel alive. You would scrape together cash, starving yourself just to save up whatever crumpled bills you could find. One night, absolute terror takes over as the reality of your dead-end life hits you. You realize your survival instinct has to kick in. You know if you stay, you will end up just another ghost in the pavement. Any sane person would keep running the rat race, but you aren't sane. A suicidal madness takes over. You pack nothing because you own nothing, and you empty your pockets, smashing whatever metaphorical piggy bank you have left. You buy a one-way ticket to the absolute edge of the map, Alaska. You flee into the night, proving to yourself that you are willing to die for the only thing that makes you feel alive. You arrive at Dutch Harbor in the dead of winter. The docks are a chaotic maze of rusted steel, blinding sodium lights, diesel fumes, and freezing rain. You are cold, aimless, and hungry. You wake up in a damp warehouse that smells of stale sweat and despair. Around you, dozens of young guys look at you with suspicion, all of them broken souls looking for a spot on a boat. Suddenly, the metal door crashes open. A huge man walks in, a mountain of muscle covered in heavy rubber rain gear. He introduces himself as the captain, a veteran of the ice. His voice booms off the walls as he announces your new destiny. You are no longer humans, you are greenhorns. You are going to learn to haul crab or you are going to die trying. The training program of the Bering Sea is scientifically designed to break the human spirit. Your alarm clock isn't sunlight, but a violent scream at 4 in the morning. You haul massive, heavy gear that tears the skin off your back and leaves your hands perpetually bleeding. But in this furnace of suffering, the deck becomes your only sanctuary, and your crewmates transform into your only family. To bury their traumatic pasts, everyone adopts new roles. There is the slick deckhand from the hood with hands that move faster than the eye, capable of untangling any knot in seconds and stealing extra rations from the galley. There is the silent giant with a back as broad as a concrete wall, voluntarily taking the heaviest loads to protect the weaker members. And the kid who lives in a state of constant paranoia, always watching the horizon for rogue waves. And your damaged brain gives you a weird superpower where you forget physical pain almost instantly. They beat you down with labor, you bleed, and 5 minutes later you are hauling again as if nothing happened. That unbreakable smile is what boosts your brother's morale when they are on the edge of breaking. For 3 seasons, the money makes sense of the pain. You are pulling in stacks of stained cash. Brotherhood is forged in misery, sharing sips of dirty water and hiding extra food for whoever is struggling the most. One night, shivering in the galley, you metaphorically slice your palms and mix your blood in a sacred oath. You swear you will get out of that hellhole alive, all or none. Your life transforms into a sequence of hits against the ocean, executed with pinpoint precision. You aren't a gang of rookies anymore. You are an elite tactical unit where every member is a vital cog. Your coordination reaches an almost telepathic level. You haul the 700-pound steel pots with a flow that seems supernatural.
You enter an absolute trance, forgetting the hunger and the fear. The roar of the diesel engine, the screech of hydraulics, and the crashing waves become a sonic chaos that would make a normal person's ears bleed. But to you, it's the most beautiful symphony in the world. The camaraderie feels unbreakable. When the weather turns violent, you don't feel fear, just absolute focus. The ocean stretches out around you like a dark void, But on this 130-foot piece of floating steel, you belong. You are kings of the black depths, extracting fortunes from the freezing abyss. The grueling, bone-crushing work gives you a profound, intoxicating purpose. You are conquering the elements together, a sharp sword pressed against the throat of the Bering Sea. Season 7. The industry begins to rot from the inside out. The independent captains sell out to massive seafood conglomerates. Loyalty is replaced by corporate quotas. Your gut tells you that in this place, friendship is a luxury that comes with a very high price. The corporate owners become cold strategists who are always whispering and planning in the shadows. The ocean looks at you not like a comrade, but like a piece of meat. One night, while sorting crab in the blinding sleet, the silence breaks. Your brother in arms, the deckhand who fed you when you were starving, looks at you with tired eyes. He confesses that he can't stand the smell of blood and rotting bait anymore. He tells you he saved enough money and has a plan. He wants to flee south, change his identity, and open a small bakery. He speaks to you with a passion you'd never seen in him, describing how the smell of warm bread will replace the smell of fear. He asks you what your dream is. You, with your heart frozen by panic, cut him off immediately. You remind him that in this game, the only retirement is death. He looks down, disappointed by your coldness. However, fate is cruel. The next morning, a brutal storm hits. The freezing spray coats the ship's steel in a heavy, silent armor. Your friend loses his footing on the icy deck. The hydraulic block catches his slicker. A horrific snap echoes over the howling wind. The captain in the wheelhouse handles the medevac with mathematical coldness. There is no glory, no mourning, just the cold efficiency of a job well done. The company acts like he is just a broken part to be swapped out. You realize with horror that you are an empty shell, a hauling machine without a purpose. The captain looks down from his perch, looking for professionals who can work without feeling a thing. He says a good fisherman isn't the one who enjoys the sea, but the one who feels nothing when it grinds him down. In that instant, something inside you shuts off. The doubt vanishes and is replaced by a mathematical coldness. As you look at the empty spot on the rail, you realize that a part of you, the little humanity you had left, died with him on that deck. Season 12, January. You are 40 feet up on the massive stack of crab pots with a sledgehammer, your joints grinding, swinging desperately to clear the asymmetrical ice before the boat rolls over. Suddenly, a 60-foot rogue wave hits the starboard bow out of the pitch black. The impact against the sea feels like hitting a concrete wall. You are entirely submerged in freezing blackness, clinging to a frozen pipe. The boat leans over, hesitating on the razor's edge of capsizing. Freezing water starts to flood over you. There is no pain, just a deep silence, a blue that wraps around you as you sink toward the bottom. Your lizard brain, trained for years to survive, screams a clear order at you. But as you hang over the abyss, suspended above the churning water, your friend's last question echoes in your skull like a damn curse. What is your dream? You realize you have nothing. The survival instinct is stronger than love, but the sea has taken every piece of humanity you had left. The boat groans and sluggishly fights its way back upright. The water drains away. You climb down to the slick deck, your hands shaking violently. You drop the sledgehammer. You walk to the wheelhouse, your clothes heavy with ice and salt. You don't say a word to the captain. You just pack your gear. You are walking away forever, deciding to leave the past behind and live a new identity. You live in the Midwest now, landlocked, safe. You work a quiet, lonely job at a hardware store, surrounded by aisles of bolts and lumber instead of diesel and salt. You try dating normal people, but you can't connect. When they complain about their mundane office problems, you just stare at your scarred, calloused hands. You can't explain the profound isolation of the ice. You can't explain how the sea uses people up and spits them out as broken shells. You sleep in a warm, silent bedroom, but you never sleep soundly. You live in a state of constant paranoia. You wake up in a cold sweat at 3 in the morning, your legs automatically bracing for the phantom roll of a boat that is thousands of miles away.
You survived the Bering Sea, but you never really made it back to land. You traded one kind of ghost for another. Finally, far from the noise, the crushing waves, and the memories, you are just an empty shell, waiting for the end. If this story made you think about the true cost of the things we consume, or if you've ever felt like a disposable cog in a machine, drop a comment below. Subscribe for more deep dives into the psychological toll of the world's most brutal jobs.